I remember, very vividly the beginning of your journey, and you just started sharing it online a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And since then, you've won over so many hearts. A lot of people related to you. A lot of people, different aspects of your life were very relatable. And since that day, which was November 2017, the fight against cancer hasn't stopped. And I remember you called me at 7 a.m. and you didn't sound hysterical. You were very calm, just like you always are. And you said, Enjy, I've just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And you seemed like you just didn't know. I don't know if you were in denial at that point or you just took it in and you're like, it's okay, this is how it is, I'm gonna face it. Now I need to think strategically of what I'm gonna do next. And that was your question to me. Mm-hmm. So you have been able, despite all of this, to keep it all together. The elegant woman that you are, the mother that you are, you were always present, whether it's at kids' events, at kids' birthdays, school events, family events. You were always present, and you didn't seem like all of that was going on, with you personally. How did you keep it all together? What made you first go for the checkup? That's because I am 35 years old, and I've never gone for a checkup.
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
No.
Everyone, do your checkup.
Yes, you have to.
So what made you go for a checkup?
Well, since the age of 30, I've had an annual checkup. My mother is a survivor, and so I was always aware of it. I had a lot of cysts, so I'd be checked regularly anyway, mm-hmm. but it was just my annual checkup.
And then what happened? They found a tumor or?
No, because I had so many cysts, they wanted to do another scan just to check that they were cysts, they were fine, they just wanted to monitor them. And it was through that they actually found the DCIS in the other side.
What's DCIS?
DCIS is ductal carcinoma in situ. So it's basically with the cancer cells haven't invaded the breast tissue yet, they're inside the milk ducts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once they
stage 0.
Okay, so once they found, so this is when you called me and said, mm-hmm. I've been diagnosed with DCIS.
Yes.
Okay, and then take us through that first phase 1.
It's really surreal. I didn't feel any different. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't feel anything. I was, at the time, in peak fitness. And suddenly you're being told you have this disease. It was a bit like a ticking time bomb. And I think I just went into proactive mode. I needed to get second opinions. There had to be a mistake. Something didn't make sense. Someone had to give me another option. And I think the biggest hit was being told that the only solution was the mastectomy, because I wasn't prepared for that at all.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you were diagnosed?
33.
33.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I keep talking about my experience with you. I remember I saw your kids at a kid's birthday party, and they knew where you were and they knew what was happening. A lot of people say, keep that away from the kids at a certain age so they don't worry for the mom, but you told them.
Mm-hmm. I was told by everybody not to. Mm-hmm. And the day after I found out, I was actually supposed to be flying to visit my father, and I had to cancel. So the kids came downstairs and I was there, and they didn't buy my explanation one bit.
Really?
They knew that I'm a planner and I don't change my mind last minute. And there was a lot of conversations behind closed doors, which they're not used to. They could see that my mother was upset. I wasn't myself. And so once I had a clear picture, I sat them down and I told them what was happening. And it was the best thing I did.
What was their reaction?
Well, the twins, the boys
situation.
were 6 years old, so they were just giggling because we were talking about boobies. It was way too abstract for them. They couldn't really grasp what was going on. But Aya, it affected her. My daughter was just turned 9, and she heard the word cancer, and she was scared. But because I was open and because I was honest, from that moment on, if she had any fears or concern, she came and spoke to me about it. And nothing snowballed in her mind. That dialogue was open. And the same with the boys. And I think they realized 2 weeks later when I was going for my surgery, and they said, "What do you mean it's still there?" I said, it's still there. So it was definitely honesty for us. That was the best thing.
You just said you were re-diagnosed. You went again
Yes.
for another surgery. So you had a mastectomy?
I had a bilateral mastectomy.
I mean, usually I know that the last thing you do is a mastectomy, and that's it. Unless you have it in the lymph nodes. But
Yeah.
so you did a mastectomy and you're done.
That's what we thought.
Okay. What happened next?
And then I had a recurrence. They found a lump. Well, I saw the lump for a while, but
You felt the lump.
yeah, I could see it under my skin. It was very visible, and it was growing and growing. And I think the doctors thought it can't be anything because I'd had a mastectomy.
Yeah.
And when it continued to grow, and they did actually check it, it was a recurrence. And this was in November 2019.
So 2 years later.
Yeah.
But you didn't go through any kind of treatment, so it's chemo, radiotherapy, none
No,
of
with
that.
DCIS, that it was very, very spread. So it was in all areas, and so the only option for me was mastectomy. Yeah.
Okay, so you went back again to do another surgery.
Yeah. So this time they did the lumpectomy to remove it.
Okay.
But then they found that was more spread than they had anticipated.
Okay.
So then in March 2020,
Oh God.
I did another mastectomy, this time a more radical mastectomy, and they found more disease in the other side. So, yeah, which they didn't get clear margins for, so I will be having, inshallah, a fourth surgery to hopefully be my last. Inshallah.
So March 2020.
Yes.
Pandemic.
Yes.
You did a surgery during the pandemic.
Well, just before.
Okay.
Just before.
And then I remember you were stuck in London, or did you choose to stay there because of your immunity, or there was lockdown as well? You couldn't come back.
The UK wasn't in lockdown yet.
But you could not come back
But
into Dubai.
I wasn't strong enough to fly back yet. So I had to recover more, and then I managed to get on the last flight back.
So you were away from the kids for how long?
2 months.
That was tough. Who was with you?
I was with friends.
And at the same time, throughout all of this and those past 3 years, your sister.
Yes.
What happened with your sister?
So my sister was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer in September 2019.
Wow. And she had to do as well a mastectomy?
No, so she had a lumpectomy and radiation.
Radiation.
When I went for my checkup last week, I had a lump. It got progressively bigger, and straight away they did a fine needle biopsy, which is like an aspiration. They take fluid. Anyway, I've just found out that the results have come back not so good. They're not very happy with what they could see, and they can't do a bigger biopsy because there's not enough surrounding tissue because I had a mastectomy. I'm frustrated that I am back in this situation. I'm gonna now start preparing for surgery as it has to be removed. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. It could be so much worse, but we have to acknowledge when things aren't right. It is the 6th of March 2020, and I am day 4 post bilateral mastectomy. This is my second mastectomy. This time around was very different to the last time. Last time I had drains for 10 days. This time I had the drains just for 2, which I was very grateful for, because once they're out, it was much more comfortable and much more mobile. Today I was able to shower by myself and wash my hair, although I couldn't dry it by myself. I'm very, very happy that I was able to independently shower and get dry and dressed and that's a big victory for me today. Taking deep breaths, is still a little bit sore, laughing, haven't been able to cry yet, but otherwise my energy is still low. It's I think going to take a little bit of time to gradually get back up. So when I had my mastectomy in 2017, I had it done in Dubai. This time I came to London. This was my second bilateral mastectomy, and the care that I've received here has been absolutely incredible. Every single step of the way, from the consultants to the nurses to the hospital administration. So the good news is that the DCIS that I came to remove has been removed, alhamdulillah, and I don't need to do any further treatment. So I am very, very grateful and relieved for that. And the not so good news is that they unfortunately found more DCIS in the other side that we didn't know was there. So that means another surgery. The surgery cannot be scheduled because of the coronavirus, and so I will have to wait until, inshallah, we are over it and the world is back to normal. I am still in London. As a family, we decided that I would wait a little bit longer to gain more strength and to become more independent, to be able to navigate traveling, and also so that my immune system is strong enough and I'm not so exposed going through international travel and being in the airports and the aeroplanes. Unfortunately, in this time, as many of you know, there have been more flight restrictions. So I am hopeful that when I am ready to go home, I will be able to go and be back with my kids. So my recovery, alhamdulillah, has gone as well as I could have hoped for. I've had a few minor setbacks, but usually because it means I overdid it that day or the day before. For the first 4 weeks, I can't lift more than 1 kilogram, which is the equivalent of a bag of sugar. And I'm enjoying the lovely London spring weather and trying to take some beautiful walks and listen to my body. So I can't talk for too long in one go without the pain being triggered. So on that note, I am going to sign off. Thank you for listening. I hope that you and your families are all keeping safe and well. And inshallah, together, we will all do our part to get over this virus.
So Maha Gorton was going through all of that. Mm-hmm. And from the outside, Maha was present, Maha was smiling, Maha was in great shape, Maha was always, she was always there, and you could never, if people didn't know you well enough, they would never think anything is going on. And I know a lot of people that they would just, they'd have the smallest health issues, or any health issue is a health issue, but this, for me, for example, if I have the flu, I'd be in bed and I won't be able to be present with the kids. But you did all of that. Where did you find the strength? Was it something that was within you? You've always been that strong person. Did you find strength in someone else? Did you have a great support system? How did you elevate yourself?
I think it's all of the above. And I think you make a very good point to everyone else from the outside. But no, I've had my days when I felt a bit sorry for myself. I think one of my friends, I remember when she found out, her reaction was oh my God, this sucks. And I remember thinking, exactly, it does. It was rubbish, but it was what I was handed, yeah. And it could have been much, much worse. But for the children, there was no other option other than to just get on with it. I had to focus on them. I had to focus on myself. And I know mothers, anyone watching, would be like, what, focus on ourselves? But you do, you have to focus on yourself. And for me, it was a huge reminder of finding my own happiness and self-compassion and having the ability to say, I just can't today. And allowing myself that time to build up my energy again and keep going.
Self-compassion. I don't even know I mean, so you woke up one day and said, you know what, I need to focus on myself, and that's how I'm going to get over this and get through this? Or did it just build up through the days when you realize, wait a second, this is so overwhelming, I want people that are watching this to understand and know that no matter what you're going through, you can and will elevate yourself from any kind of situation. And for me, being a mother is, it's the most beautiful thing in the world, but at the same time, it's a very difficult role. And to be able to have that and manage that and take care of that at the same time is not easy.
No. I think it's taken the second diagnosis for me to really stand back and say that I needed to change the way I deal with myself.
Okay.
And like I said, allow myself that time to feel. And the first time I went into overdrive, it was all about finding the right doctors, the right treatment, getting healthy, recovering, making sure that everything seemed fine. I'm fine now.
Yeah.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is, for the people around you, it's your diagnosis that is the struggle for them. But for when you're the patient, it's actually from the minute you have your surgery, when you wake up from surgery, that's when your journey begins. That's when the fight, or my fight, began. And my mum gave me this great analogy. She said, Maha, you were like a car going at 200 miles per hour, and suddenly you've just slammed the brakes. There's going to be this period of skidding. And I really felt that for a long time. It took me a while to stop feeling like I was skidding.
But why do you say that the journey begins for you, for a cancer patient, after the surgery? Isn't surgery like half of the road gone?
Because I can speak for myself. For me, it was surreal. Like I said, I felt great. Going into surgery, I'm
okay.
I was fine. I ran 10 kilometers the morning before my surgery as a warm-up before my workout. I was fine. And suddenly I'm not fine, and I'm missing parts of my body, and I can't use my arms, and I can't laugh, I can't cry. And it was, that's when the reality hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, let's drink some water. And now, your kids, when they saw you come back, how were their reactions?
It's difficult because they know that I'm sore, that physically I'm healing. And as a mother, when you hug your children, especially the small ones, you pull them to your chest. So to have to learn how to cuddle with them again and hug them again, it's difficult. The twins, they're like cubs, and they just jump all over me, boys.
Yeah.
So that's difficult. And my daughter always looks concerned.
Bless her.
So it's difficult for them to see that I'm tired. They're not used to that. Or to say I can't lift something. But we're getting there. I'm going home, I'm going home. I'm going to put myself in a corner so I can take a deep breath. This is really good. I'm so grateful right now. Very emotional and very grateful. So silly. I can hear the birds. I mean, stuff we take for granted every day. So I've not seen the kids in 2 months. They have no idea that I'm here. And I'm about to go see them now and surprise them. It's really shaking.
Maha, thank you so much for this. As I said at the beginning, I have a lot of friends that are, going through issues in their lives, and they sort of lose complete hope and lose themselves and just hit rock bottom. And that's why I wanted to bring you on this, before you travel, because I know that somebody out there who would be watching this would actually take something from it. And to the people that are watching, what would be something that you'd want to tell them for them to elevate themselves from whatever it is that they're going through right now, especially with everything that's happening in the world? What would Maha Gorton tell them?
Allow yourself to feel. There's no shame in that. When you allow yourself that space, you're showing yourself kindness, you're accepting it. And it's only once you accept it that you can work on coming out of it or getting yourself the tools to be strong. And I think that's another thing. By feeling and acknowledging the feelings that you're going through isn't weakness. I didn't allow myself to feel the first time. And I realized that by putting on this facade all the time that I was coping so well, it didn't do me any favors, and it didn't help anyone else that's going to be going through it and look and say, well, she found it easy, so why am I struggling? I didn't find it easy, and I was struggling. And it was through finding the things that make me happy, where I find joy, and that's what got me through the difficult moments.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Maha.
Thank you.
And I can't wait till all of this is over.
Me too. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kiss. I just got up and I thought that was very